Hello, good morning. We're outside in my driveway. Not not bogan or anything. It's going to rain for I think like the next couple of weeks. We're going to have a really wet summer here in Sydney, from what I've been told. So I'm trying to get sun when I can, and I think like today is one of the 2 days that we're going to have sun for the next 2 weeks. So here we are in my driveway. I have a really beautiful garden, but it gets no sunlight and I need to tan. I also wanted to apologize really quickly for the audio in the last video. I know it was horrible. I was trying something new and that new thing didn't work. I knew that it didn't work for the first clip, and then I forgot to change it for the second clip, and now the whole video just has horrendous audio. So for that, I apologize. There's a bunch to catch you up on. It was my birthday last week, so yay. It was my birthday on the Thursday, and we get like a free day off for our birthday at work. And I was like, I'm not going back to work on the Friday, so I took Thursday and Friday off, and then I didn't realize that Monday was a public holiday here in New South Wales. So I had a 5-day weekend, which was awesome in a way. For my birthday, it was supposed to rain that day, and we had planned to go horse riding for my birthday, and that didn't work out. And unfortunately, it actually didn't rain that day. So I was a little bit bummed out that we didn't end up doing that. But instead we went to a yarn store that was like an hour drive north, called Grumpy Ginger, and I wish I had taken footage. I didn't take footage like a horrible vlogger, but I was so overwhelmed, and I was so excited to just be there. I don't get to go to yarn stores often. Probably a good thing, to be honest. But my husband was like, buy whatever you want and it'll be my gift to you in lieu of going horse riding. And I get really bad decision paralysis. I didn't even have anything like really in mind. I'm the kind of person who buys yarn based on like whether I have projects ready to go in my head. And I didn't really have anything in my head ready to go, so I was like digging deep and being like, what have I always wanted to make? What I ended up with was these two skeins here from Fiber Lily, and it's not going to look very good in this light. It's in her super soft sock. Say that fast 3 times. Super soft sock, super soft sock, super in colorway Duck Duck, which is super cute. And then to go with that, I've got this mohair from Collar Girl Collective, another Australian dyer. This is in her Myrtle Lace, and the colorway is Irish Cream. So again, that's like a yellow and white, like variegated skein, and then together, apologies about the hoons in my neighborhood, bitches. Together, these are going to become a Birds of a Feather by Andrea Mowry. Maybe one of like the first projects or like first patterns that I had seen and was like, I really need to make that. And mine, like, I saw that pattern like years ago. I've only really been knitting for like a year and a half, and I saw that pattern years ago and like never occurred to me that, hey, I should make that now. So here we are. Also got this really cute sock set from NNK, which is Never Not Knitting, which is another Australian hand dyer. And it's just like if you were gonna get roses and turn them into yarn, this is what it would look like. So pretty. I don't know how to knit socks. One of the things that it's been on my list for a really long time, and like, to be honest, I think I haven't done it because it just seems so complicated. Like, there are so many different ways to do it, and everyone's like, top down is better, no, bottom up is better, no, this heel is good, no, that heel is good. And like, for a beginner, it's like, just tell me where to bloody start. And so I said to the Discord that I was going to commit to doing my first pair of socks this month, and then I asked them to throw me a bunch of suggestions, and they did, and that was very kind of them. So I'm going to go through each one of those a little bit later on and see which one tickles my fancy, and hopefully knit some socks. Anyway, I digress. The last thing I bought was an advent calendar, and I don't have it on me at this very second because I don't want to bring it outside, but I'll put in a shot. I'm not going to open it until you're supposed to, even though I'm very tempted to. I've never done an advent before, and I had convinced myself that I was not ever going to, because I don't know what I would do with mini skeins. I think that like the first thing that comes to mind is probably the sea glass sweater, which I think is really cute. But I would want to have a very specific color palette for that, because I think that like the ones that are kind of all the same, like all similar colors, like the ones that are all blue, like all warm tones, like are super cute together. And when you've got like advent calendars, you don't know really what you're gonna get unless you get like one of the themed ones. So I've got that one advent calendar from Grumpy Ginger, and I have another one coming from Blackwattle, which was going to be husband's birthday present to me. So yeah, I'll open them and see how they are, but I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna love them. So yeah, those are my birthday yarn adventures. I'm not meaning to give you the look, but it's just very bright out here, and I'm squinting, and I don't want to wear sunglasses in front of you right now because I feel like that'd be rude. So I think I'll show you what I've been working on, just as an update from last time. I have finished the Lydia. She is so ridiculously gorgeous. I wore her yesterday to brunch, and that yarn is, I think, $49 a skein here in Sydney. Like, I keep on going on about this yarn, but I would pay that again. That yarn is so ridiculously good. I want to find, I think, a couple more like camisole projects to make, like single skein projects that I could use that yarn for, just because it's like ridiculously soft, and the colors are like insanely beautiful. And I guess I'll give you kind of like the rundown on how I felt about Lydia. I said last episode that I should have watched the tutorial video on how to do the cast on, because I kept getting it wrong. I got it wrong like a number of times, and I had to start again and again and again. But I went back and watched the tutorial video again after I had finished the top, and I actually don't think it was that helpful. And like, I had this chat the other day with Patricia, Serial Sewist Patricia, a designer, lists out instructions. They shouldn't just say, you know, do XYZ. They should say what XYZ is trying to achieve. And so I think that helps the knitter kind of figure out in their head, if it wasn't already obvious, oh, like I'm doing this so that I can bind off the stitches, or so that I can save these stitches for straps later or something. Like, if the intention of the action is not like immediately evident, maybe that's just like an experience thing, I don't know. But I would really prefer it if instructions were backed up by like, this is what the instruction is trying to achieve. But that's just the lesson for me now. I actually really like the effect of the provisional cast on, because it looks like a tubular cast on, and it wasn't as hard as doing a tubular cast. I hate doing tubular cast ons. Even though they look so good, I would rather do a bind off. I do like the like repetitive nature of a bind off, so long as there's not 10 billion stitches to do. Yeah, but the cast on's a biatch. This is where we are with the summer knot. So the great thing about this shawl is I'm so far off in my stitch count. Like, I've basically, the way that it goes, right, is like garter and then pattern and then garter and then pattern and then garter, and I'm supposed to be starting this pattern again. I think I'm like 10 stitches off, so I need to do another 5 rows to get the stitch count. But like, I reckon it doesn't matter, to be honest, if this garter like row is longer than it should be, because like, it's not like it's structured or anything. It's just a shawl. It's not like sleeves that need to be a certain length, or like a body that needs to be a certain length. So I'm just gonna fudge it. I don't care. I'm not really loving this project, even though like I really want the finished product, and I love the yarn. I'm going to sound so stupid saying this, and I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but like, knitting flat confuses me. I don't understand the way that stitches are supposed to be mounted on the right side versus the wrong side, and I don't know which way I'm supposed to purl on the right side and the wrong side to get the knit stitch to mount the correct way on the right side and all that kind of thing. Like, And the reason why that's important is because there's a lot of knit togethers in this shawl that are really, really uncomfortable and difficult to do because the knit stitches are mounted in the wrong way. They're mounted backwards. So when I knit, I'm actually knitting through the back loop. So when I have to do a knit two together, the stitches are like sitting in the wrong spot, and so they're really tight and they're really hard to knit. And I'm just like, I feel so stupid because this should be like knitting ABCs, right? But I don't get why it's so hard, and I don't get why they're backwards. Should I be purling through the back loop on the wrong side? I don't know. These are the things. Okay, so like I learned how to knit pretty young. I think at like 16. The oldest like evidence I have of myself knitting was like in late high school. But I didn't learn from anyone. I learned from a book. And I don't know if you've ever seen like old school knitting books. I went to like a charity shop here in Sydney and bought like knitting needles and yarn and a book and just taught myself from that book. And like learning how to knit from pictures is ridiculous. And like on top of that, they don't go through it in that much detail, and that's probably not a bad thing. But when it comes to like situations like now where I actually need to know that info, I'm like, damn, I wish I went to a class. Maybe I will go to a class, who knows. I should, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Anyway, in other news, I've casted on the Sienna shawl, and I am freaking loving it. It is so like relieving to be working on a worsted weight project at the moment. This one I'm doing in Malabrigo Rios in the colorway Valentina, and I think that she's beautiful. She is going really, really fast. So that's only 2 skeins worth of knitting. 2 and a tiny bit, 2 and a little bit, and it's supposed to be 4 skeins big. And I'm not sure if I'm going to stop after this 3rd skein, but then I'm like, what am I going to do with like a 4th skein of 10 ply? What am I going to do with a single skein of 10 ply in pink? I don't know, but we'll see. I'm really into the idea of really huge shawls anyway, like blankets. I think they're cool, but not in this weather. But it's pretty and I love it so far. It's working up really, really quickly. I'm really glad to be working on something that's not tiny, tiny needles, which actually brings me up to my next point. I haven't knitted in 2 days. For actually a while now, and this is totally my bad, I have been like feeling like a tight pain in this part of my shoulder, and like it's so odd because it's not like a joint pain or anything. It feels like a muscular pain. When I press it, it hurts, which is really weird. And so I got to the point where like every time I needed to squeeze my hand, whether it was to like pick up a glass to drink or to like feed myself or do anything inclusive of knitting, it would hurt pretty bad actually. And so I'd been ignoring that pain for like maybe a couple of weeks now. And it got to the point the other day where I was like, I can't handle this anymore. And so I was like, I better stop. And so I stopped. And I've been so bored. I've been trying to like figure out other things to do and have probably been doing things that aren't really helping the injury. Like I mowed the lawn yesterday. I weeded. I mulched some leaf matter. I like repotted a plant. I'm doing all of this productive stuff, which I think is really funny because like it's all stuff that needed to be done and I've been putting it off, and the one time I actually get around to doing is because I am forced to not knit. So that probably says something about how my relationship with knitting at the moment probably isn't super healthy. And maybe I should consider more frequent breaks. I am really in like a production mindset at the moment. Like I really want to be churning stuff out. And like I said this last time, but I should take my time. I got a very generous gift from Patricia for my birthday. I'm not even going to try and say the name of this store. Here it is. I feel really bad because like my maiden name was a very difficult name to pronounce. every time I was like called up at school, or like if someone needed to say my name for like at a bank or whatever, like they'd just be like, "Oh, is it blah, blah?" And I'd be like, "No, it's actually blah, blah." And I just like years and years of that like just got me annoyed. And like I know that like it's the most minute and non issue, but like it's just annoying. And so when I say things incorrectly, I get a little bit like learned how to spell this correctly, because I kept spelling it like titty and then getting naughty results. But anyway, I bought a bunch of tuku wool using that for my birthday, so thank you, Patricia. Really excited for that to come. I also got a gift card in USD from work, because I work for an American company, and that just happened to coincide with the Pearl Soho sale. So I bought like, of course I bought some linen quill to make a half and half triangles wrap. I've wanted to make it for ages. The Australian dollar is so bloody weak against the US dollar at the moment, and I had to take the opportunity, so I did. Got a delivery from Wool Warehouse. I'm gonna make this Sosha wrap cardigan in this really beautiful burgundy color. That's pretty high up on the priority list to knit next, I think. I don't actually have a bunch of stuff that is super like urgent to me at the moment, and that's probably a good thing, because I think the Stephen West MCal Clue 1 comes out on Thursday, which is in 2 days. Oh man, and like that's gonna be huge. 4 skeins of fingering weight, get out of town. So maybe I shouldn't cast on stuff. If you have any like good like 10 ply good worsted weight patterns that are like semi-applicable for summer, let me know. I'm thinking of like, I have a bunch of cotton left over from All in the Gang that like I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, and like I hate it. I think it feels gross. Like it's super duper heavy, and like it's 10 ply cotton, of course it's gonna be heavy, but like I don't want to use it in a garment. I think that it's not garment appropriate, even though I have a garment in it. I kind of hate it, but I think I'm gonna use that to knit up some hand towels or something. I've seen a few like cute patterns from Pearl Soho, but yeah, I'm sweating pretty badly. So I'm gonna get off camera, but I hope that you're having a great day and that it's warm or cold or whatever you want it to be wherever you are. See you in a sec. Bye. Mabuhay. What I'm about to say is probably super duper blasphemous for a lot of Australians. I saw this thing on TikTok where it was like, if you order this very specific drink from Starbucks, it'll end up tasting like Twix. It kind of remotely tastes like Twix, but not really, but it's yum. And I know that it's like 99% sugar and probably not the best for you, but I liked it. So if you like it, here's the recipe. Anyway, if you're brave enough to go into a Starbucks. So it is the week after Clue 1 for the Twists and Turns MCal by Stephen West has come out. What I'm going to do, I know not everyone likes updates on the MCal, so what I'm going to do is in the comment section I'll put some timestamps so you can skip ahead if you're not interested, but if you are, this whole section will be dedicated to kind of that MCal, and I'll be doing this for all of the videos moving forward. But basically I started yesterday. I was very late because I actually went and had a little bit of a girls' weekend with my childhood friends. We went and got a penthouse in Bondi and just spent 3 days together uninterrupted, which was really nice. We don't get to see each other as often as we did as kids, obviously, but yeah, it was good. A little bit for my birthday and a little bit because I'm actually moving state in a couple of months, and so we thought we'd take the opportunity to spend a big chunk of time together. Oh, getting sad thinking about it. So my whole life, my approach to fashion has been a little bit Steve Jobs-esque. Growing up, I worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs while also studying in high school and university. And so I kind of just lived all of my teens and well into my 20s in various uniforms, not really having not only just like time, but also not the money to kind of spend on fashion. We were growing up, I grew up a little bit poor, and I kind of hate to say that because I did very much still grow up very, very, very fortunate, but not like, we didn't have expendable income. Well, I didn't have an expendable income that could be used to keep up with trends and fashion and all that crap. Like, nor did I have the time, or nor did I even want to. And I think that kind of carries on with me to this day. Even now, like, I'm not really the kind of person to buy clothes. I want to be able to say that, like, I am staunchly anti fast fashion. But the reality is that I am not. I try to be as much as I can. I don't really buy from fast fashion unless I really, really, really need to. But like, I maybe buy clothes and shoes once a year, and I never buy anything that's kind of like vogue at the time. I have a decent feel for like corporate wear because I kind of have to, and because it's not that hard. But that's probably where my understanding of my own personal style ends. I started knitting almost a year and a half ago. And I am definitely still a process knitter as opposed to being a product knitter. I'm not really making things to fill holes in my wardrobe because there are no holes in my wardrobe. Like, I don't really need. I'm very capsule wardrobe without the cool. When reflecting on my first year of knitting, I've kind of realized that I do have to make things that I will wear. Otherwise, the amount of waste that I'm generating, I'm not comfortable with it. One of the things that I quickly realized was, how was I going to know what to make when I really didn't know what looked good on me or what suited me or what my personal style was. And I just want to jump here and be able to say, like, wear what you want. Like, don't be influenced by anyone. Wear what makes you happy. Wear what makes you feel like yourself. I didn't have any expectation to do the MCAL this year. In a way, I was peer pressured in the nicest way possible by some of the lovely people in this community, which, by the way, if you're not in the Australian Knitters Discord and you are Australian, we are running like weekly little get-togethers where we work through the clue together on like a Thursday or Friday night, depending on what time the clue comes out. So if you're looking for someone to hang out with while you're knitting away, please feel free to check the link below. But anyway, coming back to the idea that I should make things that I would wear, I was suddenly faced with a conundrum. I don't know how to pick colors. I don't know what looks good together. I don't know what looks good on me. How am I going to come up with a product that I'm going to wear without even knowing what it looks like before I start? So my first move was to look at previous years and see what combos stuck out to me. Surprisingly, this version of last year's Shawlography by Tribe Yarns was the one that jumped out to me the most. I really genuinely considered copying this whole thing exactly, but then decided that ultimately I should treat this as a learning experience. I should allow myself to experiment with colors, and if I get it wrong and it ends up being something that I don't wear, you know, then it'll just be an expensive experience, I guess. I don't know. So the second thing I tried was I hopped onto my laptop and I looked at all of these pre-made color palettes and made swatches based on those because they kind of already pulled into a coherent theme, and I kind of just cherry picked what I thought looked good together. And I think that for the most part, this kind of worked well. I figured that I could still kind of be dark and moody without having to default to black and white. The problem with this was I then looked at all of like the online knitting or yarn shops here in Australia and couldn't find colours that were similar enough to what I was looking for, or the stuff I wanted just wasn't in stock. The other part of this was that I had an experience recently where I ordered some yarn online that ended up looking completely different in person, and I'm still pretty cut from that experience, and I'm not really keen to buy yarn online when the colors are so like important, like in a project like this. So local dyers and online retailers were putting up kits pretty much every day, and they were disappearing basically immediately. So I kind of buckled, and I went for this kit from Black Wattle. And don't get me wrong, this kit is beautiful. I've never knitted anything blue either, so I thought that this would maybe be a good idea. So I've started that now. I think I am a couple of rows in. Everyone always talks about how it's really interesting that Stephen West, teaches you like new things all the time. And like already it's clue one and I'm already learning new things. Like, spoiler ahead, but like the way that you flip the little dingle dongles in is really cool. Something that I would never have thought to do. So I'm already leaning into it. I'm already like, let's do something freaky. Let's do something like different. Looking back now, I think that I'm not super duper happy with my colors. I was considering going and searching for new ones, but then I was also like, I can't be bothered. Fiberfest is next week and I should maybe have waited, but I didn't. One of the things that I didn't expect to get out of knitting is like this feeling of vulnerability. Like I've spoken about before, like with my weight gain, I have tried my best to not look at my body too closely. I'm not feeling the best about like how fit I am at the moment. And I think that if it wasn't for knitting, I wouldn't have looked into any of these things that I have never thought about before, like my body type or my fashion sense. And I'll be honest, like it is equal parts fun and terrifying. I think it's really important for me to maintain positive self-image throughout all of this. Admittedly, it's hard, but at the same time, I do feel like I'm making progress in terms of personal growth. There's no feeling like binding off a project or taking it off the blocking boards and then putting it on and being like, not only do I look good in this, but like I like it. like I made this and I like it and it looks good on me. And I'm very much starting to get addicted to that feeling. I think for the first time I can relate with people who, this is the worst way to put it, who care about how they look. If I'm being honest, I don't care about how I look. Again, clothing has been something that's been very like just a utility to me. Like I definitely was that person who would totally just wear the same jeans and a t-shirt to work every single day because clothes are just clothes. But for the first time, I think I'm kind of getting it, and it's a little bit scary, and it's making me feel vulnerable. But at the same time, fuck it, I'm just having fun. On this note, I have finally finished the Summer Noct. I think that the yarn that I chose was so perfect. The color is so nice and like blocked. It is soft. I can't tell you how soft it is. I am going to probably fully convert to being a shawl wearer all the time. I don't care if people think that it makes me look like an old lady. I'm gonna do it. Sorry about that dog. If you missed it very quickly, the yarn is Black Wattle Farms Sweet Pea in this limited edition colorway Sage. I think it's actually still available in the store if you wanted to check them out right now. If you don't buy them up, I will. But yeah, it's been like a weird, like busy week. I think I need a like truly proper break from social things. I'm so like my social battery is just completely used up. And then Fiberfest is on Sunday, which I'm super excited about because payday is on Friday, and God, you couldn't have come at a better time. And then work again. Do you ever feel like you've never had a moment to yourself? I don't mean that in a way that's ungrateful. Like, I am very, very, very fortunate to have a bunch of friends and like a loving family and all that kind of thing. But like, I'm also tired. And I think that I have a hard time saying no, and I've had to do it a bit recently because when you move states, you want to be able to say goodbye to everyone in like a way that feels good. And so I've been like scheduling a lot of lunches and dinners and all that kind of thing with people, which is filling up my heart in a really good way, but also like draining my cup in a way that's like I'm not dealing with it very well right now. I'm really, really itching to cast something new on. Part of it is that exhaustion, and part of it I think is also like my frustration with the MCAL. I'm like, this part is like, it's cool, and like I said, I'm learning stuff, but I'm also like, we were complaining about this in the Discord earlier today. Like the casting on and binding off again and again and again is pretty tedious. I reckon that I could have knit up. If this was just like a straight bit of knitting, I would have finished by now. But that's the whole fun of it, right? That's the whole point of it. Do something different, I guess. Practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. I just need a break. Anyway. I'm trying not to sound like I'm super duper overwhelmed in every single video, but like it's hard because I'm overwhelmed all the time, and especially right now, and especially like coming up to our move, and I've got a bunch of stuff happening at work. Like I'm interviewing for a promotion pretty soon. On top of that, like I've got a teammate going away for maternity leave, and then we've also got like an empty patch that we couldn't fill last year because we didn't get head count, and so I'm like covering all of these different patches that I wouldn't usually, and so I'm tired. Anyway, I have a meeting at 7 p.m. tonight, and that's in like an hour, so I'm gonna stuff my face with some food, do a woosah, do a little and I'll see you later. Bye. Hello. It's Patricia from the future here to say I didn't film an outro. Again, this was a super weird video. Like I said, things have been so busy. Actually, I'm coming to you like about a month after I filmed that last clip, which is great. I've got everything together, I swear. But next episode is going to be very exciting. There's a lot of things have happened. And so I'm really excited to share that with you. But for now, I'm going to sign off this video. I'm so sorry about the abrupt ending, but I hope that you're having a fantastic week. For those of you who are doing the MCAL, Clue 4 comes out tomorrow. That's how far away this video has been. So thank you so much for watching, and best of luck with your knitting, and we'll see you next time.